everyone, it's Jenny and welcome back to another episode of Hashtag Epic Book Recs. So this is a monthly series that I do here on the Epic Reads channel where I recommend a bunch of YA books based on a certain theme. So I've done a bunch of themes in the past and you can check out the whole playlist of them down below in the description. But today's theme is one that I'm super excited about, and it is online/social media. So I feel like in the age that we live in right now, social media is huge for a lot of us. Most of us are online most of the time, and so that kind of reflects in our books. And so I wanted to talk about a few books that incorporate some sort of online presence in their characters or in the storyline, or have an aspect of social media in them. All of these are really great and really fun, and I hope you guys will find a book that you want to pick up very soon. But let's just get right into the books. Alright, so the first book that I want to talk about is one that I finished very recently and absolutely adored, and that is Don't Read the Comments by Eric Smith. So this book follows our two main characters, Divya Sharma and Aaron Jericho, and they're both in high school. And Divya is a streamer. She is a gamer on this game called Reclaim the Sun. It's a fictional game, and she has a super huge following as a streamer. She is known as D1V or Div on her platform, and her whole following and fan base is called the Angst Armada, and they really look to her as a role model. But Divya's been facing a lot of hate and a lot of trolls on the platform recently, and the book actually opens up with a kind of attack on her within the game of Reclaim the Sun. But regardless, Divya is kind of pushing through because she's using her stardom on the gaming platform to gain sponsorships and work with companies so that she can pay for her mother's classes, help them stay afloat after her parents divorced, and she is just kind of keeping their family together, and she's a very mature girl for her age, and I really admired her for that. And then Aaron is this young kid. He wants to write video games one day. That is what he wants to do in his life, and he actually works for a small gaming company that's creating games, and so he's made some stories for games before, but he hasn't really been paid for his work by the company just yet, even though the company is run by one of his friends. But Aaron's mother really wants him to pursue a career in medicine and become a doctor like she is, and she doesn't want him to suffer doing odd-end jobs like his father had to. And so she has a very kind of specific goal in mind for Aaron, and Aaron really doesn't like that goal. He loves gaming, he loves Reclaim the Sun, he also really likes Div, the gaming streamer. And so when the two of them meet on a remote planet in the game, they end up striking up a cute little friendship and really leaning on each other in a really difficult time for both of them. And this book gets really intense, especially with the trolls that come after Divya, because they start coming for her not only within the game but also in real life, and it kind of expands from there. This was such a great book, and it really talked about, influencer culture, but also gaming culture and how hard it is for girls in gaming. But it also tapped into the gaming space, which I feel like I haven't seen a lot of books talk about before, so I thought that that was super cool. I definitely recommend this if you were looking for a sweet little cute romance, and if you were looking for a really strong family presence in a book as well. This one is the perfect one for you. Alright, the next book that I want to talk about is one that I'm currently in the middle of and absolutely loving. It is Batshit Crazy, and it's just so weird and interesting, and I love it. And that is All of This Is True by Lydia de Penaflor. So this is a book that is told in a really interesting way, and it's with a really interesting concept as well. So it follows these 4 teens who read this young adult book and kind of fall in love with the author, really admire her, and they go to one of her signings, and they go there with the intention of kind of befriending her or kind of getting into her life in some way, not in a sinister way, but they're just so enamored by her and her writing and all of that. But things kind of roll out of control when they do actually befriend her, and the author later uses the content from their lives, stories that they've told her, as fuel for a book that she ends up writing and publishing. So out of the 4 teens, there's 3 girls. So there's Miri, Soleil, and Penny, and then the 4th teen is a boy named Jonah, also friends with these 3 girls, who also was at the signing. And you find out at the beginning of the book that he is in a coma after getting beat up by a bunch of people for something that happened in the book that author wrote. Her name's Fatima. And this book just starts out super wild and kind of deals with social media and online presence, but also fame in a really interesting way. It's also told in a really interesting format. It's told in video footage, in excerpts from the book that the author writes. It's also told in these notes that one of the characters takes constantly in her journal. And then there are also parts that are kind of published online as part of the New York City magazine, and it's one of the characters, Soleil, telling her side of the story, while Miri and Penny are kind of telling their story in interviews with this TV program called The Naked Truth. I definitely recommend if you kind of wanted like a thriller mystery, because I am just so intrigued by this and I just want to know how it all ends and what's gonna happen, and I'm just really excited for it. So, all right, the next book that I want to talk about today is one of my all-time favorites, and if any of you have visited my channel before, you know that I love this book, and that is Warcross by Marie Lu. Basically, this book takes place 5 years into the future, and it takes place after this technology called the Neuralink has been invented, and it's invented by this boy named Hideo Tanaka, this young man in Tokyo, and he invents the Neuralink, and it's these pair of glasses basically that connect your brain to like a virtual reality, and from this technology develops this game called Warcross that is kind of swept across the world, and everyone has started playing it, and there's championships for it. And so our main character, Amika Chen, is a young orphan living in New York City. She's trying to keep herself afloat, and she makes her money by doing bounty hunts on Warcross for the police to catch criminals, people who are doing things illegally on the game. But one day when Amika accidentally glitches herself into a championship game on Warcross, the world's eyes just kind of turn towards her. Everyone wants to know who she is, and so the creator of the game, Hideo Tanaka, ends up contacting her and telling her to come to Tokyo, sending a jet and bringing her there, and he wants her to catch a hacker that has infiltrated the game and is causing some problems. This book is so wild, and it has a wonderful romance in it, but also a really exciting plot. Amika is trying to solve this mystery, but also playing in the games. She ends up disguising herself to be one of the players in the championship, and so you are seeing the fame that she gets from that, but you're also seeing the impact of this online virtual space and how it could affect the world, and I just thought it was super cool. And if you wanted to pick up a book that kind of deals with online spaces and social media spaces, this is also a great one. It's super interesting, and I definitely recommend if you are also into sci-fi. All right, the next book that I want to recommend today is Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. So I am mentioning this one because it deals a lot with speaking to other people online and through texts and social media and that kind of thing. So Penny is moving to Austin, Texas to start university, and she's planning to become a writer, but she has kind of lived a very non-eventful high school life, and she has a lot of hopes for university. And then we have Sam, who's this young man working at a cafe and kind of living above the cafe, and he is struggling with money at the moment and doesn't really know what he's doing with his life. He wants to become a film director, but he's struggling to make that goal happen. But when these two very awkward people end up meeting in person one day and end up in an awkward situation where one of them really needs to go to the hospital but can't go to the hospital, and one of them is just having a very awkward moment, they end up swapping numbers and become what you could call each other's emergency contacts. And so as the weeks and months go by, they start texting each other constantly and develop a really deep friendship and maybe even a romance. And it's honestly such a cute and sweet and funny book. It's super awkward at times in a very endearing kind of way, and it also just kind of speaks to the way that very introverted people, or you know, not so socially adept people, are able to find a space online and through text to communicate with other people and really find a, you know, strong connection. All right, the next book that I want to recommend today is one that I've recommended before in a mental health book recs video, and that is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. So this is a book that deals with anxiety on a very high level, and so that's why I recommended it before, but this book also really deals with online spaces. It follows our main character, Eliza Merck, who is this young girl in high school who draws webtoons, or webcomics you could say, and she has gained a giant following for her series called Monster C, and so many people love this. They make fan art of it, they comment on her webtoons weekly, and she is honestly making quite a bit of money from this series. But Eliza is a very introverted person. She struggles with anxiety, and she doesn't really know how to convey to her parents and family, you know, what this webcomic means to her and what this online space means to her. As someone who struggles to connect with people in real life, she is able to connect with people online, and her online friends are really very real to her, even if they've never met in person. But then someone kind of walks into Eliza's life. His name is Wallace Warland, and he is one of Monster C's biggest fanfiction writers. And Eliza kind of finds this out by accident. But when he transfers to her school, and he also suffers from a certain level of anxiety of interacting with people in person, they both kind of bond over Monster C, but he doesn't know that she is the actual creator, the actual writer of this webcomic that he absolutely loves. But regardless, they kind of bond over their shared anxiety and their love of various fandoms and start a really sweet friendship and romance. But, you know, Eliza is just struggling with this anxiety to tell Wallace the truth and also come to terms with her family about what she actually wants to do with her life, how she doesn't want to go to college for anything but webcomics and continue with this profession that she's kind of created for herself. I definitely recommend this one. I absolutely loved it so very much, and it left me like crying and laughing and just feeling so strongly for the characters. Alright, and the last book that I want to recommend to you guys today is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. So this is another book with a main character who has a very big online presence. So our main character in this book is Kath, and she is a fan fiction writer. She is a huge fan fiction writer, and she started writing fan fiction with her twin sister Ren when they were much younger for this series called Simon Snow, which is very similar to Harry Potter. And so as teens, they used to write a ton of Simon Snow fanfic and really bonded through that fandom. But when Kath and Ren are going off to university and Ren tells Kath that she doesn't want to room with her at university, Kath is kind of blown away and a little shocked and doesn't know what to do. She feels untethered. Ren has been her whole entire life, and Kath is kind of an introvert. She doesn't know how to interact with new people. College just seems like a very, you know, stressful kind of place to meet people, and she's very attached to her fandom and to her fanfiction writing and doesn't really know how to branch out of that. But when Kath is kind of blindsided by a roommate that she does not expect named Regan, and Regan's friend Levi, who she may end up having a crush on or romance with, she's kind of brought out of her comfort zone and has to find a balance between this world that she's created online, the many stories of Simon Snow and the fan fiction presence that she has online, versus the real life experiences that she has with Levi and Regan and her sister Ren. This is another example of someone finding solace in online spaces and also trying to find that similar solace in real life. I absolutely love this book. It is such a sweet romance but also coming of age story, and there's a lot of family elements to it as well. So I definitely recommend if you are looking for something like that. But those are all of the books that I wanted to recommend today. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that you found something that you want to pick up very soon. As always, I would love it if you guys would recommend some books down below that kind of relate to the theme for this video. So that was online and social media, books that deal with those spaces and kind of talk about them in a very interesting way. I really enjoyed all of these books, and I hope that you will pick up one of them very soon. But that is about all I have to say, so I will see you guys in the next episode of #EpicBookRecs. Bye!